I'm going to try to keep this video brief, but I do tend to talk and waffle a lot, so we'll see how we go. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the wildlife in Brisbane or Queensland and how it compares to Sydney. Obviously, being from Sydney, a bit more of a city sort of vibe. Brisbane is not quite like Northern Territory or WA, which is the true sort of Aussie outback, but I would still say that Queensland does tend to have a bit more of an outback vibe. So something that I did have to get used to when I moved here was the animals, wildlife, bugs, and everything that we share our space with. I guess here, people have farms, people live on huge plots of land, people have ducks, chickens, cows if you have a bigger land, horses, even llamas and alpacas are quite common here. And I know people in New South Wales do have farms, but they tend to be like really far out, whereas in Queensland they tend to be a little bit more closer to the suburbs and to the city. So for example, if I drive 15-25 minutes down a specific road, there's quite a couple like places with horses and cows, and I live relatively close to the city, whereas in Sydney you would have to drive an hour and a half away to see something like that. With all of that wildlife, we do see a lot of roadkill. So in the suburbs, obviously not in the really quiet suburbs, you do tend to get like kangaroos, koalas. I see a lot of frogs. I saw two today, frogs or cane toads. I've seen snakes, or all sorts of different roadkill birds, of course. I'm not too sure exactly why, but I think it's because there are a lot of main roads that separate forests or nearby forests, and you know, animals cross and things don't go too well. But yeah, that's probably something to be aware of if you are moving to Queensland or Brisbane. Driving around, you have to be a bit more wary about animals potentially crossing. And there are signs, so you know, it's not something you have to remember all the time. I did want to talk a little bit about the scaly sort of animals, so reptiles and amphibians. So in Sydney, I don't think I really saw many other than some lizards, like the regular ones, and then the blue-tongue lizards. In Queensland, though, since moving, I've seen a whole different load of reptiles and amphibians. So I've seen a lot of frogs, as I mentioned, or cane toads. I can't quite tell the difference, but it's quite important because apparently cane toads are poisonous, and if you touch them or your animal touches them, you can die. I've seen people carry them in nets because they don't want to touch them and like chuck them out. And people who grow up here do, I think you learn how to dispose of them or catch them and kill them ethically, or maybe just effectively but not so ethically. I don't really know. I just tend to leave them alone and don't go near them because I don't know what to do. But they tend to be on the streets a lot at night, just jumping around, on fences, chilling on the roads, which is why they often end up as roadkill. But yeah, I don't know what to do about them. We also have a lot of lizards. So we've got like geckos, and they tend to come into your house, and like, I don't know how they sneak into your house, and they just form their little families, and then you'll find their little like babies. It's like this tiny little baby gecko crawling around one day, and yeah, it just happens. We've also got those, it's not like a frill neck lizard, but it's like a half frill neck lizard, and they scurry around like that, and they're really, really quick and kind of scary when they run, and then they look like statues when they're still. They seem to pop up here and there, and like when you least expect them. In terms of snakes, we do have a fair few snakes. So in Sydney, I never really saw many snakes, only when I went hiking or bushwalking. That's when I saw maybe one or two. In Queensland or Brisbane, since living here, there were a couple of snakes that I've seen just in like normal or somewhat normal areas. So one was on this dirt road leading to a strawberry farm. I guess that's semi-normal, just chilling and slithering away. And then the other was when I went on a run after a night that had a lot of rain. One was just on the side of the road, again, chilling, minding his own business. I think, again, the people who have grown up here, they're quite used to carpet pythons, and like they're comfortable picking them up, carrying them and putting them somewhere else so they don't attack their pets or anything like that. I don't recommend it, but you know, each to their own. Some people know what to do, others don't. That's all good. The other sort of, I guess, wildlife or animal that I wanted to talk about were the bugs. So in Queensland or Brisbane specifically, there are so many bugs. You've got your flies, your moths, your dragonflies, I've seen witchetty grubs, beetles, wasps, a lot of wasps, and spiders, of course. There's 1,000 different species of spiders here, and then of course cockroaches. I'll talk about the main ones that I've interacted with. Flies are crazy. Like in summer, they just come into your house. If you don't take the rubbish out, like you forget one night, and a fly wanders in and they lay their eggs, the next morning you're going to wake up with maggots everywhere. That's never happened to me in Sydney, but for some reason here, the environment just encourages maggot growth. It's also happened like in your outside bin. If you throw some trash out and I don't know how a fly gets in and lays some eggs, I don't know how those maggots get up the great wall of the bin, but somehow they do, and then they're just crawling around everywhere. So with flies, I don't know, find a way to catch them. They're really fast, but you got to do what you got to do. I just try to shoo them out the window, but as one goes out, another comes in. Spiders, you see a lot of different spiders, so they tend to be like inside and out. Everyone's house seems to have a spider. It's pretty much your household pet. You've got daddy longlegs on that side, and then huntsman in that corner, and they just mind their own business. I don't think people are scared of them. I'm not too sure. If they're just chilling, they're okay. I won't do much. If they're running around, that's when I freak out. But there are some really, really big spiders as well. So if you're scared, just keep that in mind. There are also like really interesting beetles. They kind of look like flies, but they're not. I don't really know if I've actually seen them physically, because I just remember at night once I was walking and they all came out of a tree and swarmed at me. It felt kind of like Animal Crossing when like bees swarm at you, but they were all beetles. There's actually a different beetle that I saw once that was this really big, like the one with like the horns, the rhinoceros beetle, I think. And I've never seen it in real life. Again, the only time I've seen it was on Animal Crossing. So it was kind of cool to see it in real life, and it was really big and it looked really strong, like I think it is. The main thing that I did want to talk about were the cockroaches. So the cockroaches here, like all of the other bugs I've mentioned, are really big. They're probably like 2 20-cent piece coins, and they are fast, like fast and furious, sort of fast, like, and furious. So they're fast and they're furious. It's quite normal for you to have them in your house in Brisbane. I remember in Sydney, you'd only find them in dank alleyways or dirty bins and things like that. In Brisbane, I think it's because of the heat. At nighttime, they all come in, like they try to find houses to basically take refuge in. So if you've got like a gap in your garage door or a slightly open window, you're likely to have a cockroach in your house. And I guess the worst feeling is when you're lying in bed and you hear this weird scuttling, scratching sound, and you just know it's a cockroach. I know that people who've grown up here have developed the skill of killing them. Some people spray them, some people hit them with a slipper or shoe, other people literally just grab them with a tissue or their hand. Some people have no fears, and kudos to them, they're very brave, but not me. I remember when I first moved here, someone told me like, you're gonna have to learn how to kill these cockroaches. It's gonna take time, but you gotta do it, otherwise you won't survive. I'm still on that journey. I'm just paralyzed when I need to do that action to hit it. I don't know why, my body just doesn't do it, but yes, I think I'll get there soon. If you are hoping to move to Queensland, that's something you should definitely keep in mind, because you will 100% encounter one of those massive cockroaches in your house or unit. They go anywhere, they don't discriminate. So hopefully that gave you a bit of an insight about the wildlife in Queensland / Brisbane, what you have to keep an eye out on, and that helps you mentally prepare for what you might see here. Thank you.